Right. Yeah, see, the question is, now how is this different from codependence? Right? And it's different because I give. In a codependent relationship, I take. It's the difference between give and take. Marcel goes on to say, you know, what am I? And he proposes that each human being, each I, is a gift from God. If you could manage to realize that your existence doesn't have to be, but that God provides it as a gift. Not because you were worthy of it. Hey, you weren't even around, much less worthy. Okay? So it's a gift from God. And if you get into the very source of your existence in giving, and you start giving, if you are giving yourself away, then you can't love too much. You can call something love, which isn't love, and you can do too much of that. But you can never love too much. You can never give too much of yourself away. Because that's what you are. Hey, man, you are a gift. And the more you give, the more you are what you are. There's this guy speaking a sort of messed up English. He said, be what you is. Because if you is what you ain't, then you ain't what you is. And you is a gift, man. And the more you give your gift away, the more you are the gift that you are. Now, if you say you're giving it away and you aren't, you're just trying to grab something and gobble it up from others, then you can get into a codependent thing where, let's say, Ed is busy trying to take from Mo, and Mo is busy trying to take from Ed, and they're sort of into this thing. It's a very messy thing. And when I'm teaching psychology, we study that kind of thing. It is a real problem. But the huge difference and the simple difference is between giving and taking. If, like you just said, you're supposed to grab hold of this love and hold on to this love, you've already made a mistake.
Well, you have to, in my, I'm maybe one of these codependents, non-recovery thing. What they say it is when you love too much, someone comes and says, I need $1 for Dubai, or you go to Europe, and you say, okay, because you love the other person.
No, that's not love at all.
Okay, that's what I need.
Yeah, see?
I'll take my first step.
If the drunk comes and says, you know, I appreciate the fact that you're willing to give me supper, but I want $5 instead. I want to buy my own supper. Well, it's not love to give him $5 because you know he's going to go get Thunderbird and get wow. Okay? So this isn't love for this guy. Right? And see, once you get that clear, that you do something good for somebody, that's love. You allow them to use you to do something bad for them, that's not love. Right? Now, loving too much clears up. Right? And see, that's what we want to do. We want to get very down to earth. And giving the money to the person is a mistake. It's not a loving thing to do. So the person who does it isn't loving too much, they're just stupid. Okay.
See, I have another frustration. You call it frustration, or you call it resentment. You call it different words, but like experience gives me a chance to love in what you're saying.
Yeah.
But we were in the South Pacific again, and this is the only guy that got right around Christmas, he got a box of candy. The only guy, the guy was from Denver. How can I forget that? The guy was from Denver, and he got, I think, a Mars bar or a
Well, the
Butterfingers.
point is, he didn't share his candy.
Absolutely did not share. And, you know, I wondered that, what do you call it, you know, a piece of candy.
Oh, there you are.
And he did not absolutely, and I even asked him, would you care to share? Oh, no, this is mine. So the I becomes a bigger and bigger resentment. I don't know.
Well, it could become a bigger and bigger resentment if we kept trying to get Mars bars. If we kept trying to take. But on the other hand, if we were to say, I gave this guy so many years ago in the South Pacific the opportunity to exercise the gift that he is by giving me one of his Mars bars. I didn't want them all, I just wanted one. He didn't, hey, that's his problem. Now I'm going to get on with life. That's what's behind that point, huh? Get a life. Is that we should not hang ourselves up with difficulties. We should overcome the difficulties. Yeah.
I'm confessing that I used to have a big job at the university, and I always go back and think about how I did that differently. Or, I'm just getting lazy, or it's nice to have all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's also resentment. I mean, they talk about resentment as fear of the past, or fear of the future, or unfinished business. How does that fit into this? Because it separates me from the love of my children, the love of God's world. I mean, they say in the program, you can't afford resentment. So if I'm always thinking about the past, in a way, I'm living in sin.
That's right. Yeah. See, the Latin is very clear. Again, feel.
Or here.
What's that word?
Feel. Sentire, to feel, to have it over again. You know, once is enough. Right? Once to be turned down on the Mars bar, okay? That's over and done with. I'm not going to bring it up every 6 months.
Resentment comes from. It's the same thing. Resentire, resentment. It would be the same.
Is that recent? That's
Resentire literally means you
That's
hear
a-
it again.
That's Latin? Latin for resentment?
No, but I'm saying that word seems to be attached to it. I never thought of it. Just my own process, sorry.
Yeah, see how that stuff works? Is that it has a meaning, right? It has something tied right to it, very simply. Okay? And if I did something some time ago, I'm finished with that. To go back over it and reopen the wound so that I can feel the pain again, not a good idea. Not part of what I am as a gift from God. I keep trying to take, and now what I'm trying to take is pain. Well, I could do much better than that. Sure. Okay, Dorothy?
I just wanted to say this little verse, it's brief, but I think it sums up, at least in my mind, the things that you're saying. And I don't know who the author is, but I memorize it and I use it quite often. And it goes like this: yesterday is over, it has never returned, peace to its ashes and calm. Tomorrow is a vision thrown on hope's screen, but tomorrow may never come. Today is the only time we have to live and to love and to be happy.
And that's the kind of stuff that would come from someone who is into the giving rather than the taking.
Okay, it seems like each day that comes is a gift from God.
Yeah, see, it's a gift from God to the gift from God, which I am, which each person is. And as we get into that, strange things happen. The more we give away, the more we are the gift, and the more we have. Whereas the more we try to take, the less and less we have.
One of my favorite lines of the Lord's Prayer is just my daily bread. All I need to know is what do you need me to do, and give me the bread, what I need to do it. Keep me in the present, and your will be done. That's a very hopeful part of that prayer.
You see, the great advantage of Gabriel Marcel is that he calls to mind that giving is the natural thing for a gift to do. And he provides us with very simple experiences that will help us to understand it. So as you get that kind of stuff, which is written for you on page 10, then you can say, well, where does faith fit into that? And he discusses that on page, that's on page 11 actually. On page 11 he gets into the faith, and he takes up some errors that have been expressed about faith. That faith is going to make some kind of difference in God, that faith is a way of reducing God to a human need. Okay. And what we should do is to transcend those errors, to recognize instead that whether we can prove God's existence or not, we experience it. And religion is the building upon that experience. Religion is giving the gift of ourselves back to the giver, or God. So what he's pointing out on page 11 and the top of page 12 is that a lot of things that people grab hold of and play with in the religion field distract us from the dynamic of religion, which is God giving the gift of our existence, our giving that back, and therefore expressing ourselves as gift more completely. So when you think of that dynamic, you say, well, gee, that's a lot simpler than the 5 proofs for the existence of God. I understand that better. I can get on with that. And that's a very neat thing to bring from Marcel's thought. Is there anything then you'd like to say about what Marcel has provided you so far? His sort of gift to you for this morning.
Marcel?
Yeah, Gabriel Marcel.
That's the one you're talking about now. What is his gift to us? What is this?
Yeah, he's giving us these thoughts to share,
What is he taught us?
these experiences that we can identify with.
One of the most successful alcohol drug treatment programs in the United States is the Valley Hope System. They've got about 8 or 9 programs around the country. Some of them in Phoenix and as far as east as Kansas and so forth. And one of the things they'll say to you right off the bat is, you alcoholics are great givers and takers, but you don't know how to receive. And I've played with that concept for years and thought about it a lot. And it really works for me. I find myself when I get into that scenario, that's indeed I'm slipping back into where I don't want to be. And sure, I didn't know the theory behind it or the philosophy or the psychology behind it. They evidently did.
I have to call my counselor if I keep sitting here long.